Hi, I'm Tati, and this is why I read YA. So here's a bit of a discussion video that nobody really asked for, but it is something I've been thinking about lately personally, so I decided to make a video about it. Why do I still read young adult books when I'm not a teenager anymore? So here are just a few reasons why I still read YA at 22. So my first reason is that they are just fun to read. YA books are usually, I don't mean to speak for every single one, obviously, but usually they are fast-paced, action-packed, and filled with drama. I mean, is there anything more dramatic than being a teenager? Most young adult books are on the shorter side, and they have engaging, fast-paced plot lines meant to keep readers engaged. Something is always happening in the story. And then along the same lines as the drama factor is the emotion factor. In my experience of reading young adult books, they tend to have the emotions run high, which also helps keep the story engaging and helps me connect to the character, and it makes me emotionally invested in the story. For example, maybe you can think of some books that don't go along with what I said at the beginning of this, where they're, fast-paced, action-packed, have everything going on. But they do have that emotion. Some of my favorite sad books are young adult books because they have that emotion factor. Which is not to say that that can't be found in adult books. I've just found it and liked it the most when it was in young adult books. Number 2 is relatability. Honestly, even at 22 years old, I still feel like I relate more to characters in young adult books than in adult books. Is that because I'm immature? Is that because I just don't ever want to grow up? Probably. Now, before you get mad at me because I don't know what parts of this are going to make people upset, I am aware that I'm not the intended age range of audience for young adult books anymore. And I do keep that in mind whenever I read, rate, review young adult books. I know that they're written with a younger audience in mind. That brings me to new adult books. New adult, I feel like, was kind of supposed to be the bridge between young adult and adult books because young adult was so popular. And I find it a bit difficult to find good books with new adult age characters. And I feel like characters in young adult books are getting older and more mature, and I don't know if that's just because they want to be marketed as young adult books even though they could be adult books because that would be more popular. 3, content. And by content, I kind of mean the cleanness of the book. Now, before I get into this, I know not all YA books are the same. However, I have found that most of them are more of a PG-13 feel than a rated R feel, if you know what I mean. There are exceptions in both young adult and adult books, and which genre you are reading in will also make a difference. Like just going into a book blindly, picking up a book off the library shelf because the cover looks cool or the tagline sounds cool. I am much more comfortable doing that with a young adult book or a middle grade book than an adult book. This is just my personal preference, which is what this whole video is about, obviously. Number 4 is popularity. I think YA is definitely still really popular, especially here on BookTube, and there's no way that I can pretend that that's not a factor. Do I want to be reading the books that everybody else is reading and talking about? Usually, yes. I love hearing about and seeing and reading what other people are reading. That's why I'm on BookTube, and being able to read the same things and rage or gush over them. And it just so happens that most of the time, that's still young adult books, at least that I've found. There's open discussion in the comments. Now, for number 5, I have price, which is just a tiny bit of a bonus, is that young adult books tend to be a tiny bit cheaper than adult novels, depending on the length and the size and the edition, obviously. And then my last point I want to talk about is middle grade / juvenile fiction, which is not young adult, but I thought I would mention it because I do read middle grade and juvenile fiction. And that's because I feel like some of the best, most awesome adventure, fantasy, and mystery books I've ever read have been middle grade or juvenile fiction books. I mean, middle grade, and then we have elementary, but I always just say juvenile fiction, which I think middle grade is included in juvenile fiction, so don't be confused by that. I just mean like middle grade on down, but before picture books, obviously. Still chapter books. And I feel like those adventure or fantasy or even mystery books fall into this category because that's the age of the main characters. But they can be enjoyed by all ages. Just some that come to mind: The Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E. Frankweller, The Benedict Society, A Series of Unfortunate Events, Inkheart, and I'm sure there are many, many more. And so that's why young adult books are my favorite. You can let me know in the comments what your thoughts on young adult books are, or what you look for in the books you read. You can also recommend me some books if you think like what I'm looking for you have found in new adult or adult books. If you liked this video and would like to see more chatty discussion-like videos from me, you can let me know by giving this video a like. I have new videos every Tuesday and Friday, so subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye. Number 2 is relatability. This says more about me than the books. Alright, bye.